I'm going to show you guys how a typical day looks like if you flip laptops or PCs for profit. In case you are joining me for the first time, I sell electronics, pretty much laptops, desktop PCs, monitors, phones, tablets, stuff like that on eBay, being my primary, platform. And I also sell on my website. It's just that sometimes we tend to enjoy, better traffic from the eBay platform. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you typically what my day would look like. Right now, I'm on my way to the warehouse, just to continue what I have been doing for years. Guys, I have been doing this, I call this warehouse space since 2019. And ever since, I'm going to tell you, if I have missed a day or two, perhaps because of some, emergencies somewhere else, But on a typical day, I tend to drive there because the warehouse, luckily enough, has every facility that I need to actually stay a whole day. Pretty much, if you spend the night, there's a kitchen, there's a toilet, there's a bathroom. If I want to stay there for an extended period of time, the possibility is there. And this is one of the reasons why I work so hard to make sure that I do not lose that warehouse. And beautiful thing is, it's also very fairly priced. The landlord, very, conscientious person, somebody that understands that, buying and selling is a kind of business model that, yes, you can actually be rich doing it, but you need to count your money in cents. Pretty much every €1 needs to be counted, every €2 needs to be built. It's not a business that just explodes like a YouTube channel that just you can wake up overnight and you already have €70 in AdSense revenue. It's not a business model like that. Every sale you make, you have to account for it. You have to account for your business expenses, your packaging materials, and so on and so forth. All right. So my typical day will normally begin like this. I will, set out, go to the warehouse, especially when something has been sold. Today, I'm going to be shipping out a HP EliteBook laptop. Decent transaction, buyer paid full price without making any stories. Hopefully, I'm going to ship that out. But the thing is, before this laptop was sold, a lot of behind the scene, job has been done. A lot of activities, high level or high energy activities that entails me pretty much sweating, passing through so many, so clumsy directions, searching for different stuff. This back end work has been done. And one of the back end work would be that this laptop here was actually first sourced for, researched, trying to see how me buying it would not already put me at a disadvantage, position. I had to do a research to check it out to see that this particular laptop here is a laptop that sells. All right. That being said, it needed to be bought off a wholesaler, because this is what I preach. Of course, the traditional way of making this work is for you to go to marketplaces like, Facebook Marketplace, whatever you call it, depending on the country that you live. There's always going to be that one, marketplace where you can actually buy from private hands. I tend to buy a long time ago from kleiner-anzeiger.de. This is something that looks pretty much like the, there's a website in the US, I've forgotten now what's called, but it's pretty much like a marketplace where you can actually get direct contacts to private individuals. You see an item, you write, send an email or a message, and then you go ahead to pick up the item. And when you get there, you take a look at it. If it's something that is in very good condition that you imagined, you pay cash, take the item home, and list it. All right, that's the traditional method of doing this business. But the thing is, if you want to go that route, man, you're just going to be always on your way driving. It's either you are driving, picking out stuff, or, at some point, it's going to be highly unsustainable to keep running that model. All right. So this particular laptop here was actually sourced from, a wholesaler. All right. Bought in bulk, sometimes 10 pieces, 15 pieces, sometimes 5, 3 pieces or 2. But then when you are receiving this item, you have the full guarantee that this item is in excellent condition. So you don't need to come home and begin to clean them and begin to guess if something's going to go wrong. And most times we have a return policy in place. If a thing doesn't work, I can actually call the wholesaler and say, look, this laptop I just picked from you, for some funny reason or the other, doesn't seem to work, and I want to send it back. All right, and it's so easy. Laptop will be sent back, and most times I receive a credit for that particular transaction. All right, so when these items have been received, what I did do was to go ahead and list them on eBay. Of course, list them wherever I would love to list it. I am an advocate of multi-platform listings, but sometimes it gets a little bit tricky, because if you only have one piece of an item and it gets sold on eBay, and you are not fortunate enough to quickly delete it on Amazon and it gets sold, then you are caught up in a mix where your items have been sold, you do not have the item in place to ship out to the buyer. And these platforms, they are not so happy where you go ahead and just cancel transactions because you no longer have the inventory. They frown at it, and they always count it against your account as a defect. And the more of that you have, the likelihood that you are going to be suspended from that particular platform. eBay has it, Facebook Marketplace, I think they have it. I do not sell there, I tried selling there for some time, but pretty much I do not understand how it works. But I understand that Amazon also has it. If you are selling on Amazon and the items are being sold and you do not have the items to ship out, man, it's going to be a defect for you. TikTok also has it, and pretty much every platform these days, they do not like that culture, that nonchalant habit of you selling items that you do not have. All right. That being said, these items were listed, fairly priced, making sure that they are very, very competitive in the marketplace, and also making sure that everything like shipping, processing time, item description has been checked, making sure that the chargers, because if somebody wants to buy a laptop and the person realizes that the laptop doesn't have a battery or a charger, I'm telling you, they're not going to buy it. They might buy it, but they're not going to pay full price for that item. So these are the kind of the things that we do behind the scene. And sometimes when you have to do this over a lot of devices, over laptops, desktop PCs, you might just have a situation where you are coming to the warehouse in the morning and you are just checking different items, checking for functionality and making sure that everything is in place, listing them. You can pretty much spend the whole day putting in that upfront work, and that upfront work is not paid for. You have to be aware of that. Not like traditional kind of job where you go in the morning, you spend 9 hours, and you are already sure that 9 hours you will get payment for that 9 hours. If you have signed a contract for say 12 or 14 euros per hour, this is what you get. You come into the work at 7 o'clock, you go home at 16 o'clock, you get payment, like full payment for the time that you have spent. Reselling, it's not like that, and it's very important for you to understand this major distinction. You could put in a lot of upfront work, pretty much a lot of the online business models are like that. The payment doesn't come to you per minute, per second, per hour that you spend in the business. All right, you could come into the warehouse and spend 12 hours and get $0 or €0 in terms of payment. It's just you putting in upfront work. You list different items with the hope that they're going to sell. But when those items begin to sell, the trick is this profit that you're making from the items, are they commensurate to the amount of hours that you have spent? That mathematics, at some point in your reselling journey, you have to actually, take a look at it, because if you don't take a look at it, you'll be spending an untold amount of time in that business, and all you're getting back is for you, just getting pennies in return. I've been there before, guys. I'm not going to lie to you. So the thing is, I'm going to be taking you guys through, and hopefully you can learn a thing or two with the laptop that I am going to be shipping out today.